goes after Philippines trade imbalance. Funds approved for Rabaul Queen trial. And enrolment begins for eligible NCD voters.
This is National EMTV News with Helen Sayer.
Good evening and thank you for joining me for Wednesday's news. First, it was the trade war with Fiji over its continued blocking of PNG products. Now it's the Philippines. Trade, Commerce and Industry Minister Richard Maru says there is no market access that would guarantee a viable economic trade link between PNG and the Philippines. He has put the Philippines government on notice over what he describes as biased trade relations in the fisheries industry. Minister Maru added that there is lack of two-way trade between both countries for Papua New Guinea to enjoy business opportunities.
Under the policy, Minister Maru says in future, no fishing companies will fish and take out processed tuna or other marine products out of Papua New Guinea or supply cannery companies. Fish caught within the country's waters is processed on shore, while downstream processing generates more for the country's internal revenue. Locals will also benefit with more job opportunities.
What we are saying to the Philippines government is, look, because you're taking fish out of PNG, there's so many of your citizens employed here. All our people are going there for school. We are a major contributor to your economy. And we should look at an agreement where when our goods come to the Philippines, you shouldn't be charging duty. In that way, more PNG goods can be sold to the Philippines.
Papua New Guinea isn't enjoying all the business opportunities, says Minister Maru, and discussions have begun with the Philippines government on a two-way trade for a bilateral trade agreement.
Most of our students are now going to the Philippines for studies, but you don't see that a lot of trading of goods between PNG and the Philippines, and that's a concern to us. Because at the moment, in terms of the relationship, it's just benefiting the Filipinos right now.
Minister Maru says Papua New Guinea has the same market access agreement with the European Union and can directly export fish without paying duty tax. What Philippines is doing is competing with fish from Papua New Guinea with the same market access agreement. For example, at the moment, products like oxen palm is charged 30% duty tax to access the Philippines market, making it quite expensive.
When our fish is caught in PNG waters by the Filipino boats, they go to the Philippines and are processed as if it's Philippines fish. We would rather the fish caught in PNG is sold by PNG companies directly to EU, and we don't want any other country to take our fish, go and process it and make it look like it's their fish from their waters, and then sell and compete with us in the same market that we are trying to access ourselves.
A bilateral trade relationship will also result in giving Papua New Guinea special market access to the Philippines market. Fabian Hakelitz, National EMTV News.
Still on trade matters, the bilateral talks between Minister Richard Maru and his counterparts from Russia, New Zealand and the Philippines will open more opportunities for Papua New Guinea. The minister met with delegates at the APEC summit in Peru recently.
The recent APEC meet in Peru was hailed a success by Trade, Commerce and Industry Minister Richard Maru. This is because Papua New Guinea has forged relationships with other member countries like Russia, New Zealand and the Philippines to open more access markets.
Important trade talks with three important countries, Philippines, Russia and New Zealand, and we are extremely keen to build those relationships. And I want to put the country on notice that companies, SMEs.
Russia has shown interest to invest in Papua New Guinea with a trade delegation expected in the country by February 2017. But before that, a memorandum of agreement on trade and economic cooperation will be signed. This will pave the way for exchange programs like scholarships for Papua New Guineans to study in Russia.
And study in Russia. So in short, the Russians are coming. We are very excited. We are very keen to receive them, and we will be working, my ministry and Department of Foreign Affairs, to facilitate a trip in August, and we are keen to sign the MOA for the Russians to come. They are very keen on some investments here as well. So we are excited about Russia, and I think that was to me one of the highlights of our APEC meeting.
The national government is extremely keen to develop trade relations with these countries. Mr. Maru says a trade delegation will visit New Zealand to look into the different money-making sectors like tourism and fisheries.
Something that I was very happy with the opportunity to meet with Russia, to invite them to come and to assure them that we are very keen and we are very keen on working with Russia to help grow our trade investment ties with Russia. Finally, I met with the Trade Minister of New Zealand.
While this is important for business opportunities, what the government needs to do is to create space for investors like the visa on arrival. Fabian Haklitz, National EMTV News.
A village road is being sealed and proper footpaths built in preparation for a multi-million kina wharf to be constructed at Morbe Sipaya village. The Wagang Wharf is expected to support 3 tuna fish canneries in the Malahang area. The road is investment when the country's economy is struggling. Bethany Herman with this report.
Footpaths have been built and the road has been graded. Phase 1 of the Wagang Road has begun. The road was officially opened by the Morobe Governor Kelly Naru in May of this year. 5 million kina was paid to a lay-based construction company to do the job. When the Provincial Executive Council allocated the money, Morobe Province was in a cash flow problem and surviving on its internal revenue,
which we are using to embark on this major impact project, which is essentially going to service the new wharf facility and also the villagers living along this route.
The people are watching the work done on the road, and with elections in 2017, they are looking to see if promises are kept. 5 million kina paid by the provincial government for work to begin was an installment. Construction has started on the Wagang Road. Behind me, locals are also taking part in the building phase. In sections from Sipaya to Malahang, Kolta has already been laid and footpaths have been constructed for pedestrians. When infrastructures like this one is being built, the country's economy is struggling. It renews confidence that Papua New Guinea is still a growing economy. Bethany Harriman, National EMTV News, Lae.
The National Treasury Department has approved and released a total 650,000 kina to fund the Rabaul Queen trial. An affidavit presented today indicated a full transfer of the money to be used. The transaction follows a court order issued last week by Justice Terence Higgins in Kokopo, ordering the Chief, Treasury, Finance and Justice Secretaries to appear in court to explain why the trial was not funded, as assured by the Attorney General Anopala in June. Edwin Fidelis reports from Kokopo.
The Rabaul Queen trial reconvened today here in Kokopo in the absence of the Treasury, the Finance and the Chief Secretaries. The Justice Secretary, Dr. Lawrence Kalinoy, was the only one who appeared in the courtroom today. In an affidavit delivered by the lawyers of the Treasury Department, has indicated that a total of 650,000 kina has finally been released by the department 5 days ago. The money will be used by the police to cater to witness expenses when they are brought to Kokopo to testify in the Rabaul Queen trial. Treasury Secretary Dairi Vele stated in the affidavit that he hasn't cited the letter of financial request written to him earlier this month from the Office of the Public Prosecutor until a later date, and that was the main cause that prolonged the release of the funds. Justice Secretary Dr. Lawrence Kalenoy, who was the only secretary in the courtroom today, told the presiding judge, Justice Terence Higgins, that the state of financial depression in the country has had an enormous impact on the 4 government departments to secure funds. The Rabaul Queen trial has again been adjourned to March next year. State prosecutors say this will allow police to gather state witnesses before the trial reconvened. Now, the release of the much-needed fund is expected to put an end to the financial woes that has been affecting the trial in the past 6 months. Edwin Fidelis, National EMTV News, Kokopo.
Meanwhile, Martin Reynoldson, an Australian maritime expert, is expected to attend the Rabaul Queen trial when the court reconvenes in March next year. Mr. Reynoldson will testify according to his examinations of witnesses' accounts given in court since April this year. The National Treasury Department has also approved and released a total of 80,000 kina to cater for Mr. Reynoldson when he is in the country. The Supreme Court has discharged a stay order by Leadership Tribunal which stayed suspended North Fly MP Boka Kondra's application to review his misconduct charges. The judgments were made by Justice Don Sawong, Justice Nicholas Kiriwom and Justice Fraser Pipit. Eric Harupma with this report.
Justice Eric Kariko read the judgments to the public prosecutor who appeared for the defendant, State and Counsel Sinel who appeared for the appellant Boka Kondra today at the Waigani Supreme Court. Boka Kondra was alleged to have misappropriated a sum of 400,000 kina of DSIP and DSG funding while serving as the MP of Parliament. He was charged under Section 13 of the Organic Law and Section 27 of the Constitution. The court added that he used the funds to rent an office in Kiunga, hiring of a vehicle, and paying his accommodation rentals in Port Moresby for a period of 2 years. Boka was found guilty on the 27th of May 2015 by a leadership tribunal with 6 counts of misconduct allegations in office and was dismissed from office. On May 1, 2016, he filed a judicial appeal but was rejected by the National Court. On April 5, 2016, a stay order was filed to stay the appeal application to review the decision of the Leadership Tribunal in the National Court. This was handed down by 3 bench judges with Justice Pitpit and Justice Sawong discharging the orders. Eric Arupma, National EMTV News.
Among stories after the break, U.S. Ambassador Catherine Ebert Gray speaks of the U.S. government's assistance to prevent HIV/AIDS. Stay tuned for details. Welcome back. Every year, 2,000 Papua New Guineans are diagnosed with HIV and many still do not know the facts about how to protect themselves. However, Health Secretary Pascal Kase said a coordinated approach by the government, business, international partners and NGOs have helped to ensure that the feared high levels of infection has been prevented in the country. One of those international partners is the United States government, who is still committed to assisting PNG in the fight against HIV and AIDS. U.S. Ambassador to PNG, Catherine Ebert Gray, spoke about this on the eve of World AIDS Day.
Our program at the U.S. Embassy is one of the largest programs that we have of the U.S. government in the country. And we have several experts who are working with the Department of Health to increase education of men, women, and even youth on how to prevent AIDS, how to have lifelong treatment if you do test positive for AIDS, and then how to make sure that we can try to eliminate AIDS in Papua New Guinea in the next generation. It's important we really focus on this before it grows any more in Papua New Guinea.
Enrollment of eligible voters in the National Capital District in preparation for the 2017 national election officially commenced today. More than 800 enrollment agents will be out in the 12 wards in the nation's capital to update the NCD roll for the next 14 days. City residents are to look out for enrollment teams who will be visiting their areas during this period of time to check their names and details on the roll and register.
All the enrollment agents from the 3 NCD open electorates, namely Moresby Northeast, Moresby Northwest and Moresby South, assembled at Jack Piddick Park at 5 Mile this morning to receive their final instructions. Electoral Commissioners Delegate John Calamoro urged the 800-plus enrollment agents who are temporary electoral workers of the PNG Electoral Commission to do their jobs well.
But make sure you begin to seamless workflow enrollment long city, long NCD, inside the 14 days.
There will be static teams who will be based at central locations for the next 2 weeks, so eligible voters can go to check their names or update their details. Meanwhile, NCD Election Manager Terence Hetinu said the NCD Electoral Office, in conjunction with officers from the Crime Intelligence Unit, are working on a security plan with the blessing of the NCD Metropolitan Superintendent's Office.
Security is a big concern for us. One of the officers from the National Intelligence Unit came up and saw me. We are working on a security plan for this. We will also be using the NCDC police, the city police who are mandated to also help to carry out the law and order.
In the meantime, Mr. Calamoro also emphasized that enrollment agents will have their pays deposited directly into their private bank accounts only after the Commission is satisfied with the outcome of their work. Deli Waigeno, National EMTV News.
The RPNGC has encountered many problems relating to command and control at the supervisory level due to lack of knowledge and skills by frontline supervisors. Acting Commissioner of Police for Northern Region, Peter Guinness, says these problems arise especially at the stations and section levels. He made these remarks at the official opening of a 3-week training for 22 frontline supervisors at Bumbu Police Barracks on Monday.
Guinness told the participants that our PNGC has faced so many issues of unethical behavior and conduct by police officers. But frontline supervisors have not been issuing warnings to their subordinates. The new training is to help frontline supervisors enhance their knowledge and skills and be able to give them an insight of what their duties and responsibilities are.
You have no ability to supervise them. That's when only walk about outside like chicken with no head. They're committing so many kinds of problems and giving so much problems to us because there is this lack of supervision at the command and control level in the front line.
The workshop aims to provide supervisors within the RPNGC with the knowledge, skills and the attitude to be more effective in leadership, supervision, managing and mentoring of their staff. These skills are essential in assisting the supervisors to lead, command and control. A similar training is also running concurrently in Mount Hagen, while another one is scheduled in Vanimo in February next year.
That's the issue behind it. That's why now we have lack of discipline in this organization because we are not doing the right thing.
Matalubis, National EMTV News, Ley.
The construction of the staff houses at Bumbu Police Barracks in Ley has resumed after work came to a halt in 2014. The government has allocated 5 million kina to build 20 new police staff houses. The Assistant Commissioner of Police for Northern Region, Peter Guinness, said the construction will be monitored and evaluated once the houses are completed.
These police staff houses were supposed to see completion in 2014. However, due to lack of funding, the construction of these duplexes came to a halt in 2014 until work resumed last week Monday. The Assistant Commissioner of Police for Northern Region, Peter Guinness, said 5 million kina was allocated by the government to build these houses.
The delay basically is with police headquarters. I think money was the biggest problem. Money was allocated to build these houses. Whatever reason that came about, why those houses were not completed on time and in time is something that I'm not able to positively answer to that. But it is something to do with funding and funding at police headquarters.
The construction of these new police houses are being carried out by Oregon Construction. Meanwhile, 6 duplexes are incomplete with electricity and water still to be installed. Guinness said the construction will be monitored once completed and tenants move in.
That all those houses, the new houses that are built, will be fitted with power meter, and all occupants of these houses will be responsible to paying their own electricity. This is one way of cutting costs and saving costs for the department to look at other major issues that we are currently encountering, problems in terms of budget.
The government has embarked on building 6,000 houses for police throughout the country. Bumbu Barracks is the biggest barracks in Morobe province that accommodates personnel for metropolitan and provincial commands. Guinea said there is sufficient land available to build more staff houses at Bumbu Barracks after the old houses were pulled down.
More members to come and station in Morobe, in Ley Metropolitan Command, and we can then eventually spread them out to the rural areas of Morobe province.
Julie Badui Owa, National EMTV News, Ley.
Members of the People's Progress Party were endorsed by New Ireland chiefs or Maimais to run for New Ireland regional and open seats in the 2017 elections recently. Their endorsement coincided with the launching of the party's annual provincial convention last week and the initiation of PPP's newest member, Timothy Masio.
In yet another traditional ritual, the three members were endorsed by Maimais representing Kavieng and Namatanai district. Running for the Kavieng open seat is current Kavieng MP Ben Micah and New Ireland Governor Sir Julius Chan. Byron Chan will recontest the Namatanai open seat. Micah and Byron Chan have reconciled traditionally, following Micah and Sir Julius Chan's decisive move to the opposition late this year. The party also recognized South Bougainville MP Timothy Masio's latest membership. Similarly, former BRA commander Sam Kauna, now a PPP supporter, was acknowledged for his ongoing fight for the rights of Papua New Guineans in mineral ownership since the Bougainville crisis, a fight Byron Chan now pursues in his shoes as mining minister. The party looks to host its national convention either in Milne Bay or Ley. Dates have not been finalized. Melissa Gaviro, National EMTV News.
Heron Beauty Shop Trends will be opening a new facility tonight at Ley's Brian Bell Plaza. Trends has 6 shops in 3 different countries, Australia, Solomon Islands and Papua New Guinea. The beauty shop is in the Brian Bell Plaza, which opened its doors last week and has been dubbed Ley's Mini Vision City. This afternoon, MTV's cameras were allowed into the new hair and beauty shop, giving a preview of the new facility. The grand opening will be tonight. There will be a catwalk with male and female participants showcasing products available at the shop. The shop has opened in the heart of Ley's Industrial Centre and will be a popular spot for those seeking the services provided. And now looking at our finance news, the kina closed unchanged at 0.3150 US dollars in the interbank markets. At Bank South Pacific, your kina was buying 0.3075 US dollars, 0.4088 Australian dollars, 0.2864 euro and 34.32 Japanese yen. Looking at commodity prices at New York close, gold, cocoa and copper closed higher while coffee closed the day lower. Crude oil and copper closed higher while palm oil closed the day unchanged. And on the stock market, the Dow Jones closed at 23.7 points higher, the ASX is trading at 17.01 points lower, and the All Ordinaries is trading at 18.06 points lower. When we come back, murder suspects set free, peace ceremony in Nebelia Valley, and teachers told to uphold ethics. Stay with us. Welcome back to the news. A man from Juaka Province, John Kopi, was released on a 2,000 kina district court bail in Minj last month for attempted murder. This did not rest well with the family of the victim, Mick Maxson, who was sliced in the face by the alleged offender. The incident occurred 5 years ago on the eve of the 2012 national elections in Jimmy.
Minch District Court freed the suspect after the court found out that the arresting officer, Senior Sergeant John Gurep, and the prosecutor failed to produce enough evidence to prosecute John Kopi.
Bibla mol popla ate meris kam blog lombansel. Or senior policeman lombans or popla money release the suspect without being formally charged and bail. Under what circumstances? Minusawe.
On July 2012, Maxon, who was appointed as presiding officer in Jimmy, was traveling with other polling officials to Jimmy to dispatch ballot boxes. They were blocked and attacked by the accused Kopi, who was also a candidate in Jimmy Open. Kopi fled to Port Moresby and he was on the run until his arrest in 2013 at Waigani. He was transferred to Mount Hagen Police Cell while awaiting his court appearance. Between 2013 and 2016, he escaped 4 times and was alleged to be freed by policemen in Mount Hagen Cell and Minch and Ban cell blocks in Jiwaka province.
What's the time with police goes? Police everything need money to. So we spend so for 4,000 for 5 years and we spend how much money
The victim's father is living in fear for preventing his relatives to retaliate. Maxon's father spent money and resources to assist police aid his capture. Maxon said his family has lost trust on police and they will take the law into their own hands.
This let me waste of time with police because police there is no law in Papua New Guinea. Money is above the law. It's like simple is that like killing me, not that's all.
The family want Kopi to be rearrested and locked up while the case returns to court on December 7. The case is still pending at the district court since 2013. Vasinata Yama, National EMTV News, Mount Hagen.
The people of Nebilia Valley in the Western Highlands province celebrated their 13th anniversary of peacekeeping on Saturday. An association called Komapang or Peace was formed in 2003 to symbolize peace in that part of PNG. A double classroom was also opened at a location that used to be their battlefield in the 70s and 80s.
Through Komapang Association, the people of Nebilia Valley are beginning to see services. The recent development is the upgrading of Kuntmung Elementary School. On Saturday, the Western Highlands Provincial Education Board announced that the school will be a bottom-up primary school starting next year.
I don't remember in the Glady Peace, but now we officially be my Provincial Education Board. VP Chairman, Division of Education.
Nebilia Valley is less than 20 minutes drive to Mount Hagen City. It used to be a fighting zone of the surrounding tribes and clans. While in the middle of the fight, a documentary was filmed called The Black Harvest. The fight lasted for 30 years and a peace ceremony was held in 2003. That was when Komapang Association was formed.
Especially, you will get 700 man. There is that. But the education is also 40 or 50 man in school now. But 600 and still plus man stop. No God sabe read the right. No God.
The people in that area were ignored for too long because of the tribal fight and no government service had reached them. That has formed them to use the association to get funding from donors to bring services. Australian aid through Strong in People, Strong in Nation has come to their aid with funding of over 90,000 kina to build classrooms. The double classroom and another single classroom were built on their fighting zone and were opened on Saturday. This was to symbolize the end of war and the start of a new era to embrace development and services. Vasinata Yama, National EMTV News, Mount Hagen.
As schools are winding down for the year, with graduation ceremonies marking the successful end of a school year, teachers are reminded to maintain ethical behavior. This was highlighted today at another graduation ceremony of a teachers' college in Port Moresby.
Teachers' ethics has been one of the biggest issues contributing to the behavior and attitudes of students in the school and at home. It is seen that teachers are ethically not committed to their work. Currently, there is no teachers' ethics curriculum taught in teachers' colleges in the country.
Over the years, it has declined, and you can only reflect this through the way teachers dress when they go to the classrooms. Some of them chew betel nut in the classrooms. Some of them take alcohol. Some of them leave the classrooms and they go to the cities and the towns. So basically, that's what we mean by teacher ethics.
Dr. Appelis is the Deputy Secretary of the Education Standards Directorate. He was the keynote speaker at the Sacred Heart Teachers College graduation today. This is the 5th batch of graduates from this college and the first to graduate with a 3-year diploma for primary teaching. Also present at the graduation today was Samson Wangiomi, who promised to put the graduates on payroll on the 1st of January 2017. Wangiomi says the graduates of the Sacred Heart Teachers College are expected to give their heart and treat this path as their vocation. Sawato Hahambu, National EMTV News.
National EMTV News continues with Chukai Sports after the break. Jeremy Mogi will join us on the other side with the details. Stay tuned.
Chukai Sports.
Welcome to Chukai Sports. Before heading to the quarterfinals, France coach Gilles Zekem anticipated a complicated set of matches ahead. Of course, with the more suitable approach of tackling the matches one at a time without worrying about the next game, they took on Germany after defeating New Zealand in the knockouts. Though the United States lost 2-1 in the semi-finals to a resilient Korea DPR team, coach Michel French remains focused on their next match. They face Japan on Saturday in the 3rd and 4th playoff at the National Football Stadium. Chukai Sport continues after the break. Stay tuned.
Chukai Sports.
Welcome back to Chukai Sports. While much of the focus has been on the FIFA Under-20 Women's World Cup, work has been going on in Kimber, West New Britain for the 7th edition of the PNG Games in 2017. In a press conference recently, Sport Minister Justin Chichenko confirmed the completion of all mini-stadiums, saying there was only minor work underway.
The deferral of the 7th PNG Games was announced in September following a deliberation by the PNG Games Council after councils from all 22 provinces agreed that prominence should be given to the FIFA Under-20 Women's World Cup. With the World Cup now drawing to an end and the PNG Games just 4 months away, athletes and the entirety of Papua New Guinea can now be rest assured the majority of venues are in their final stages of construction, with only minor works currently underway. The decision to put the Games on hold till 2017 has not only worked in favour of the FIFA World Cup, placing all the emphasis and support on our national under-20 girls, but it has also been a booster for the host organising committee of the 7th PNG Games, allowing enough time for the facilities to be of exceptional standard. In addition to the completion of facilities, 16 classrooms have been confirmed for accommodating provincial teams. The 24 sports remain, however the HOC has confirmed the exhibition of 2 new sports in triathlon and judo. The PNG Games still stands as one of the biggest national sporting events, garnering multiple millions of kina in support and a population of close to 1,000 athletes and officials in just one province. Lorraine Genia, National EMTV Sports.
Nick Darrow has been re-elected as president of the Basketball Federation of Papua New Guinea for another term. Following the annual general meeting held over the weekend, Kaolelai, Noreen Gugumi and Saskia Ani will also join Dara on the board of executives. The newly elected executives will work on implementing a new strategic plan over the next 3 years, which includes closer collaboration and consultation with all affiliated associations across the country. World Rugby's Rugby Services Manager Bruce Cook has called on the rugby community to support the code moving forward into 2017. Cook, who is in the country to assess the current management's progress in the last 12 months, has commended the national team on their international appearances this year and is looking forward to the staging of the Oceania World Cup qualifying tournament in Papua New Guinea next year.
It's undeniable that 2016 was an incredible year for PNG Rugby's national teams, from the Sevens men and women to the 15's recent appearance in Hong Kong. With the Palais and in particular the Puk Puk Sevens qualifying for 3 legs of the World Rugby Sevens series, World Rugby representative and Rugby Services Manager for Oceania Bruce Cook is one who is impressed and sees the potential for PNG Rugby to do more and be more in the world of rugby.
Look, that was an experiential tournament for them, and they did pretty well considering who they were up against. What they need to do here now, and they're planning for it, is that they need to develop the performance end of the game in the 15s. The Sevens performance end is going well, but you can't do everything at once at the same time and get everything functioning as one. Because it just doesn't work that way.
With areas of improvement in the field of governance and performance, Cook believes moving forward the code can only get better with more support from the rugby community in Papua New Guinea.
And I think rugby union has got a place in this sports landscape here. And I think if we can support the rugby union, and look, they're doing a pretty good job. A very good job, all things considered. I think if we can support them as a whole, as a group, as a community of rugby followers around PNG and the islands of PNG, I think that we'll see, with that support, it assisting in the development of the game of rugby.
But with the national teams now appearing more than ever before on the international stage, the governing body should now look to 2017 as an opportunity to better the fields they've lacked this year, particularly a high-performance division, which will enable the Puk Puks to match the game played at a high level, much like the Cup of Nations and others, should they wish to come close to a World Cup. Lorraine Genia, National EMTV Sports.
That ends Trukai Sports. Helen will be back with the weather details for the next 24 hours.
Trukai Sports. Trukai Sports.
The weather details are proudly brought to you by Dulux Weather Shield. Worth doing with Dulux.
Looking at the weather forecast for tonight and tomorrow, fine, although cloudy at times in Port Moresby. Mostly fine in Daru, Kerema and Alotau, and showers in Popondetta. In the Momasi region, showers in Ley, Medang and Wewak, and a few showers intensifying in Vanimo. In the New Guinea Islands region, some showers with thunderstorms in Lorengau, showers and rain in Kavieng, showers in Kokopo and Rabaul, some showers in Kimbe and cloudy in Buka. And in the Highlands region, cloudy showers easing in all centers.
The weather details are proudly brought to you by Dulux Weather Shield. Worth doing with Dulux.
Before we go, a quick look at tonight's main stories. Trade, Commerce and Industry Minister Richard Maru goes after Philippines' trade imbalance. Funds approved for Rabaul Queen trial and enrollment begins for eligible NCD voters. And that's how it is this Wednesday, the 30th of November 2016. From the entire news team, thank you for your company. Good night.